What's up, guys? It's Carly with FasciNATIVE English, where if you are finally ready to take your English to another level and to begin speaking English like a native English speaker, then you've come to the right place. So, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I have another idiom for you all today, and today's idiom is down in the dumps. Again, that is down in the dumps. And this just means depressed or unhappy. All right, if you are down in the dumps, you are depressed or unhappy. You can say, my boyfriend broke up with me last week, and then work was so rough, and it's just got me down in the dumps here lately. Down in the dumps. It just means you're unhappy, you're depressed, you're sad, you are not having a good time, you're all in your feels.
This is not fun, okay?
You're down in the dumps, all right? So, of course, I have a story for you all today. And this story this time is going to take you back to the very first time I moved to South Korea, which was in 2012. And naturally, I was super excited. And for a few months, everything was great because it was a new country, new culture, new language, and new adventures. So every day seemed like an adventure to me. Even now when I visit Korea or visit other countries, especially Korea, it's still every day is an adventure. And you would think like, oh, Carly, you lived in Korea for a long time. How is it still an adventure? Well, because I don't know, every day it just seems like I notice something new or something new and exciting happens. And here in America, I don't get that feeling. I know we're getting on a side story here, but that's a lot of the reason why I miss Korea so much when I'm not there is I miss the adventure side of it. I miss waking up.
I'm going on an adventure!
Being fun and exciting and new. Whereas in America, it's just so routine for me. But I digress. That's another story for another day. So anyways, when I first moved to Korea, everything was great. Like I said, everything was fun, exciting, adventurous. Every day seemed like it had something new in store for me. And I was learning the language and meeting new people and learning about Korean culture, eating all the yummy food and exploring all the cities. Like, it was amazing the first few months. But by November of that year, and I don't know if it was because, the holiday season was approaching, or maybe because I really, started missing my family around that time. But around November, I started getting a little bit homesick. And that put me down in the dumps. At first, I thought it was homesickness. Maybe it was. I still don't really know what was wrong with me. It's been like over 10 years. I don't know, this little funk that I went into, because when I went back to America the following year to visit, after like a few days, I was like, no, I'm done.
I hate it here!
I don't want to be here. Let me go back to Korea. I miss Korea now. But during that time, I was feeling so down in the dumps, like from November 2012 to maybe a little bit after Christmas 2012, I was really sad. And no matter what I did, I couldn't feel happy about anything. I felt like, oh my gosh, is this depression?
It's depression.
Depression.
Like, I had never experienced something like that in my life prior to that year. So I was, a little bit worried, but then I'm like, no, Carly, you're good. You're probably just homesick. But I decided to do what I could to get me out of this dump that I was in. And so since the holidays were approaching, I was like, you know what? It's my favorite time of year. I'm going to decorate. So I asked my roommate. She said it was cool. We decorated the dormitory for Christmas, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And I thought, like, because I can't be home for Christmas, which is the first time ever in my life that I'm going to not be with my parents for Christmas, I was like, since I can't be home for Christmas, then at least I can probably, bring a little bit of Christmas, American style Christmas cheer to Korea.
Best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
So I decided that's what I was going to do. So I went shopping. At that time, I was with my ex-husband. So I went shopping for him and his family, getting them the perfect Christmas gifts. And then my roommates, my friends, I went shopping to buy the best Christmas present for them and kind of put all my effort into that. And it kind of, made me not think so much about how sad I was during that time. And it got my mind off of it for a little bit. But I still didn't feel like myself. I still felt like a little bit sad, a little bit depressed. I would get emotional at times, especially when I was talking about like maybe my hometown or my family. I would get emotional. So I was definitely down in the dumps, and it was like a 2-month period. But focusing on the holidays really got me out of it for a little bit. But then Christmas came along. It was Christmas Day, and I was so excited. I was like, you know what? I'm bringing American style Christmas to Korea, to my friends, to my family over here. I'm gonna show them what it's like to have a Southern American Christmas.
Hey guys, wake up, it's Christmas!
So we woke up and I had presents for them, and then my ex-husband was actually in the military, so we drove to his military base to have like, Christmas with him. So I brought him a little gift. He couldn't take anything really with him, so I just like wrote like notes or whatever for him. So I brought his gift. We stopped by, we got a cake, and I was like, this is so exciting. But it wasn't really as great as I thought it was gonna be, because when we got there, everybody was just like, oh, hey. Yeah, I was like, hey, Merry Christmas. And then everybody's like, hey, Merry Christmas. Yeah, sure. And then I have gifts for everybody. And they're like, oh, why did you get me a gift? And I'm like, it's Christmas. Like, isn't that what you do? And they're like, no, in Korea, you only really get gifts for like, if you have a kid, or if your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Like, you don't buy gifts for your friends, and you don't buy gifts for your like your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, my brother-in-law, my grandmother-in-law, all these people I was buying gifts for, and they were like, why? That's weird. Like, what are you doing? So their reaction to my gift was very awkward.
Avocado! Thanks!
My youngest brother-in-law, he was like 6th grade at this time, my ex-husband's brother. He was like kind of excited about his gift. It was something that he wanted. But other than that, everybody was just like, thanks. And I'm like, you're gonna open it? You're gonna open it? They're like, oh, now? Like, do I have to open it now? And then they opened it, and they're like, oh, you shouldn't have bought me anything. Like, why did you buy me something? Which, now that I'm older and I have come to understand that that's just normal Asian culture, especially Korean culture. They don't want you spending your money, especially if you're a lot younger. They don't want you spending your hard-earned money on them. They're like, you need to spend money on your own self or your bills or whatever. Don't spend money on me. But at that time, I didn't really fully understand the culture yet. I was young too. I had just turned 20 years old. So I didn't really understand the culture, and I was really sad at their reaction. I was like, oh, you don't like it? Okay. And then I had brought this cake, but nobody really wanted to eat the cake. And I'm like, wow, this is totally different, because, in Christmas in America right now, Christmas in Dixie, my family would be eating like so much food, and we'll be laughing and talking and opening our presents and listening to Christmas music, and it'll just be a totally different feel. But here I'm on this cold base, and it was snowed so much the day before, so I had to walk through so much snow, which was actually kind of fun. But other than that, it was like a cold military base, and nobody's eating the cake. We ordered this food called jjajangmyeon, which is like Chinese noodles, but like Korean version Chinese noodles. And we were eating noodles, and nobody liked the gifts. Nobody bought me a gift, which I'm okay with. It's fine, but I was expecting, the whole Christmas vibe. So I was like, okay, this is a little bit weird. And then it was 2 hours there. My ex-husband had to leave. He was only granted 2 hours to see us. It's a little low-key. It's a little bit like prison, but it's just like hardcore. Like, Korean military is very hardcore and strict. So they only allowed a couple hours visiting time, even though it was Christmas. So he had to go back, and then we drove back, and they just dropped me off, and they were like, okay, bye. And I'm like, what do we get? Are we supposed to go have fun, be merry, be jolly, And I cried. I went back to my dorm and I cried for a long time. And luckily I had a roommate who was American as well, and she was also kind of feeling down in the dumps that day. She's like, yo, Korean Christmas ain't nothing like American Christmas. You want to hang out? And I'm like, please, let's go do something. I'm so sad. So she kind of saved me. She rescued me that day. And we just went downtown and walked around and everything. And we actually met a lot of other Americans that night that are still my close friends to this day. Some of my best friends, I met them that night because it seemed like all Americans living in this area that day kind of felt down in the dumps. We all were like, man, Korean Christmas just ain't the same. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Korean Christmas is gorgeous. They decorate, they have all the Christmas lights. It's beautiful, but like they celebrate it so differently than most Americans do. So when you're actually over there and you're celebrating Christmas, it's just not the same. So that night we went out, we went down Suwon Station and just walked, ate all the food, went to all the shops, and we met other Americans while we were there. These American people literally are some of my best friends still to this day. And I think we collectively just got along that night because we were all kind of depressed and down in the dumps because we were away from home for Christmas. We weren't home for the holidays. And that day, meeting each other and say, hey, we're in the same boat, another idiom, and let's just, have fun together. You're my family today really pulled us out of the dumps. All right. We came out of being down in the dumps because we met each other that day. So I hope you guys have a better understanding of the idiom down in the dumps. If you do, please like this video, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you all in the next video.
I'll have a blue Christmas